Mearns in the red corner with the grey shorts, Scott Butters in the blue corner with the black shorts, and we are underway, Dean.
Mearns very powerful, explosive. Watch out for his lead switch kick. Big overhand right here. Butters got to keep those hands nice and high in these exchanges.
Look out for the leg kicks from Richard Mearns. He's got some powerful leg kicks. And I think if Scott Butters is going to win this fight, the jab will be key. But Mearns has got Butters down in the early going here, Dean.
Mearns already looking to establish the hooks. Butters is going to look to turn in this position. But looking at the wrestling ability of Mearns, he's able to body lock and put Butters' back against the ground.
And Mearns comes out in the early going and gets the upper hand. He's in Scott Butters' half guard. Richard Mearns, of course, twin brother of Tom Mearns, who's just won on Cage Warriors. BST Northampton, the team. Very, very good fighters indeed. Scott Butters, the hometown boy from Elite Gym in Norwich.
Mearns has got a lot of dominant pressure when he's on top. He does a great job of using the cage, as he's doing now, to pin his opponent up against it and slam the punches in, use his head underneath the chin, and just really control his opponent from the top.
He's really wearing on Butters in the early going.
This is a tough fight for Butters. I mean, he's coming down in weight. He said the weight cut did great, but, I mean, his opponent in Mearns is very powerful. He's very short, he's stocky, he's got a lot of explosive power in that frame. This is a very difficult fight for Butters.
Yeah, I would say Scott Butters is known for not taking easy fights. I mean, we fought Kimbo Thinghagen and Craig Edwards, two big lightweights with more experience than him. He says he just wants to test himself against the best. Realises he's not got the most time in the world. He's 31, and he wants to make quick progress, or at least find out how good he is. And at the moment, he's finding out that Richard Mearns is all over him on the floor. Full mount here, Dean.
Yeah, Butters tried to Uber escape out of that, and Mearns, he felt that and straight down to the mount, and that's his downward pressure from the top. He feels where he is, Mearns, on the top. If you move underneath him, he's already adjusting to advance his position.
What does Scott Butters need to be doing here, Dean? Because this is a bad position for him to be in.
Yeah, with the grapevine, he needs to secure positions of his legs, so he needs to funnel his legs on the inside of Mearns' legs to get the power back into his legs so he can buck and look for the sweeps. Or he could utilise the hip escapes up against the cage. He can start to cage walk, but again, he's allowing the grapevine and he's allowing Mearns to get very high. He needs to walk his shoulders backwards and get his legs out of the grapevine position.
Just start peppering, Rich. Start peppering.
We hear the corner say, just start peppering him, just start touching Scott Butters, doing some damage, doing some scoring. And Butters really needs to get out of here. He's just holding on now.
Just go round the pound, Rich.
To posture up now, Mearns.
Butters needs to go, he needs to put his hands on those hips, hip escape, even if you dodge in the head and maybe take a couple of shots on the top. If he can secure half guard, he's going to be in a much better position. He could use the cage to kick off, but Mearns already reading that like a book and circles away Butters from the cage.
Really heavy pressure on top, Dean, from Richard Mearns. Scott Butters can't do anything at the moment to escape this compromising position he finds himself in.
Butters now, again, looking to secure the arm. He needs to trap the arm and the leg on one side and then buck towards that side to look for the sweep. There we go. Now he's going to try and turn it into half guard. He needs to snatch up the leg, and he's on the half guard. This is a much better position for him. He needs to use the underhook to set up sweeps or maybe get to his feet. He can't afford to keep Mearns on top of him.
Good work from Scott Butters then, but Richard Mearns is still on top of him, kneeling, and some heavy knees to his side. And Butters has got to move. He wants to stand up here. The crowd are going crazy. They want their man to do this. He's back to his feet, Scott Butters. And the crowd go absolutely crazy here at the Epic Studios. What will happen next?
Mearns has got very good takedowns from the clinch, though, as he drags Butters back to the ground, back in the top position. This is going to sap the cardio from Butters. He's consistently trying to defend, consistently trying to get out of this position and get to his feet. When Mearns is really just dropping his weight. He's making a few adjustments and following Butters, but he's really making Butters work while he conserves energy.
Absolutely, you have to wonder, cardio-wise, the drop to the lower weight for the first time, if that will come into play here, as he is being punished so far in this first round. He's been carrying Richard Mearns' weight for almost the entire time. He's done admirably to get back to his feet, but then immediately got sucked back to the floor by Richard Mearns as he continues this smothering top pressure from Scott Butters' half guard.
Butters now walking back to the cage. He's got to get his arm to the ground and get his feet underneath him. You see Mearns looking to pass out of the half guard position with that knee slice. You can see his right knee on the inside the inside of the leg of Butters. Looking to pry that open and pass, but he'll ride out to the end of the round. Much of the same. Expect that in the second round. Use the strikes to set up the takedown and work on top. Now he's tested in it and he's tasted what Butters...
And that's a dominant first round. We see Tom Mearns in his brother's corner pointing at Scott Butters saying, look how tired he is. As we see some of the replays, this was the story of the first round. Richard Mearns taking Scott Butters to the ground and just punishing him, really. Dean, is that enough for a 10-8 round?
I mean, you could argue almost certainly he was in dominant control in every position. You know, when he was on the top, he was switching between positions, and Butters was just really trying to survive and defend and get to a more favourable position in the half guard. You can see here, look, the way he just pushes his hips down, uses the overhook, the whizzer, uses the punches, right in the back here. He's in complete control when he's on top.
So if you're in Scott Butters' corner, you see he's getting a talking to, what do you tell him?
Much of the same, use the hands, keep the hands nice and high. I'd expect Butters to maybe try and do something unorthodox to try and catch Mearns coming in.
And the crowd imploring Scott Butters, urging him on. They want nothing more than their man to turn this around and get what would be a massive win in his career. Here we go, round two, Scott Butters, Richard Mearns. Out on the leg kick straight away, Mearns.
Butters quite low, and he leaves his lead leg out quite close to his opponent. He needs to get on his bike and work distance, but look at this, catches the leg, looking for the punches. The
big shots from Scott Butters. He landed a big right hand, the best shot of the fight there, and they're going toe-to-toe here, Dean. Fantastic work from Scott Butters.
That's what Butters has got to do. He's got to pick his ways in. He walks into the stiff jab there, but he's got to pick his punches very carefully and not give up the takedown.
He's getting peppered with that leg kick as well, which is visibly turning his stance and making it hard for him to do anything. But he landed a big right hand there, did Scott Butters. As Richard Mearns shows that head kick, he's got a huge head kick knockout on his record. And he dives on the single. And again, he's got Scott Butters to the floor. Big takedown for Richard Mearns, Dean.
Perfectly timed for Mearns, and I guess that would be his game plan coming into the second round, especially after he had that big shot from Butters. Butters just too heavy on that lead leg, and he was there for the single entry. And now Mearns working on top. It's going to be very difficult for Butters to get back to his feet, but he's got to press the head away down to the ground. He's got to get one hand on the floor and get his feet underneath him and start to try and cage walk. He's got to pull the trigger here.
This has got to be demoralising for Scott Butters after that first round, and now Richard Mearns is in the full mount looking for the arm triangle, is he, Dean?
Yeah, head and arm triangle here. The cage is blocking him. He needs to go to his left side to get more leverage. You can finish it from the mount, but it's better if you move to the left side, to the side that you're choking. But presently the cage is blocking him there, so he's unable to jump to that side.
And this is how Scott Butters lost his last fight to Craig Edwards, via head and arm triangle in the first round.
Butters has really got to get his hand out of jeopardy now and start to try and get some sort of movement in his hips. He's got to get out of the grapevine. He's got to circle his leg to the outside and then drive his heel down, but really close to his butt. So Mearns can't get that grapevine in. At the moment, he's allowing Mearns to keep him pinned with the grapevine. The hips are pinned to the ground. That means your back's to the ground. Mearns stays on top.
So this has been the tale of the fight so far. Richard Mearns on top of Scott Butters, physically imposing his will on him. He was caught by a big right hand there from Butters at the start of the round, which gave his home crowd some reason to believe their man could turn things around. Here we go, Butters rolling. He's giving up his back though, Dean.
Yeah, had the right idea to the Uber escape, but again, this is Mearns' ability to ride on top and to move with the punches and move with the rolls. He immediately secures the back here. Can't see from the camera, it looks like he's got a body triangle. He's slightly off to the left side. He's going to look to try and put pressure. Yeah, body triangle there from the... You can see the way he's got a triangle in his legs. He's going to try and force his hips downwards, and flatten him out, and exposes the head for the chokes and the strikes.
And this is a bad situation if you're Scott Butters. Needless to say, he's got to do something about this.
Yeah, Butters has got to roll to his back. Yeah, he can't afford to get flattened out. He can't afford to leave his hands and his head out there to get punched. He's got to roll to his back, push towards the lock side. So see the feet that's entwined? He needs to go to that side and put pressure on the ankle to turn it around into the punch.
And Butters is standing up here. He's looking to shake him off over the top, Dean.
He's going to pull the head to try and shake him off, but he could end up on top. He's got to be careful about the armbar here.
Look at this.
The triangle switching.
He's in the triangle. Scott Butters is in the triangle. How tight is that? We can't see from this angle.
Mearns has got to pull down on that shit. Switching to the armbar. That's very tight.
The armbar. That's it. This fight is over. Just like that, Richard Mearns transitions from the triangle to the armbar. A fantastic display of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Dean.
A superior grappling on top, and then in turn off his back from Richard Mearns, straight to the triangle, switching to the armbar. Textbook BJJ. Beautiful work from Mearns.
Huge win for Richard Mearns in this pivotal crossroads battle between two featherweights at 2-2. It's Mearns who improves his record to 3-2. Scott Butters sinks to the floor. He's now lost 3 in a row. His record drops to 2 and 3, but like the warrior who he is, as we see the replay here, that was a big right hand which wobbled Richard Mearns.
That was the only time that Mearns was semi in trouble here, but we can see the back control from Mearns. Butters on the ground, and he got to his feet briefly, tried to shake him off. But Mearns just, again, adjusted in the top position. He's always looking to improve, whether that's on his back or if he's on top. We'll see he starts to switch his hips around, skips the leg, over the face, and forces the tap from Scott Butters.
And Dean, you're a BJJ brown belt. That was top-level technique, wasn't it?
Fighters to the centre of the cage, please.
Elbows and punches as well. I mean, it's very difficult to submit somebody when they can punch and elbow you in the head, but Mearns stayed calm and collected, powerful off his back and powerful on top.
Ladies and gents, let's hear it for both these guys here in the cage, please. But ladies and gentlemen, your winner via arm bar from the red corner. Let's hear it for Richard Mearns. And give it up for Scott Butters.